Do you believe Newcastle may have pulled off the most unexpected and intelligent signing of this preseason, and no one's talking about it? That's right, the club is making big moves. There's a new addition arriving for the backroom staff, a tough decision looming over Callum Wilson, and time is flying. But hold on, the headline story, the one on the thumbnail and title, is the last piece of news in today's video. Before that, we've got two major updates that are also bound to make waves. So get comfortable, because today's video is packed with red-hot Newcastle news. But first, just a quick word. Remember those Chelsea fans who said this channel wasn't growing because our fan base is too small? Well, they're starting to go quiet, because our numbers are going UP. So let's keep pushing. If you love Newcastle and want to shut them up once and for all, hit that subscribe button right now. It costs nothing, but it sends a message. Let's hit 1,000 subs together and show them what the Black and White Army is all about. News 1. The clock is ticking. Newcastle are back to work. That's it. The holiday is over. Newcastle United's players have returned to Benton, and pre-season has officially begun. Now, it's all about focus, because time is running out, and this upcoming season is shaping up to be one of the most demanding in years. And when we say the schedule is tight, we're not exaggerating. In the coming days, the Premier League is expected to release updated kickoff times and fixture changes for the live broadcast matches, especially affecting August and September. That alone demands full attention from the coaching staff and club logistics team. But let's get to the good part. On the 19th of July, Newcastle take to the pitch for their first pre-season friendly, away against Celtic. A key match to get the team warmed up and try out new faces, particularly with possible new signings incoming and veterans fighting to hold on to their spots. After that, it's time to pack the bag for an international tour that will grab the world's attention. First up, Newcastle head to Singapore, where they'll face Arsenal on the 27th of July. Then, it's off to South Korea for two more big clashes, against Team K-League on the 30th of July, and then Tottenham Hotspur on the 3rd of August, in Seoul. These friendlies are much more than just warm-ups. They are high-level tests that will help Eddie Howe assess what's working, what needs fixing, and who's really ready for the season ahead. Newcastle want to hit the ground running, and there's no better way than facing top opposition before the real action begins. And it doesn't stop there. Once back in England, the club still has two more friendlies lined up at St. James Park, on the 8th of August against Espanyol, and on the 9th of August against none other than Atletico Madrid, a proper trial by fire before the official season kicks off. Speaking of the big kickoff, Newcastle's first competitive match will be away to Aston Villa on the 16th of August. That means just 40 days ago until the 2025-26 Premier League season begins. Not much time for everything that still needs to be sorted. And the club knows it. There are still negotiations ongoing, decisions to be made about potential exits, like Callum Wilson, reinforcements still to arrive, and the coaching staff is being reshaped with new additions behind the scenes. In other words, pre-season may have started, but the real work is just beginning. The clock is ticking, the pressure is rising, and Newcastle want to come out flying from the very first minute. With Champions League football on the horizon, the squad needs to be physically, tactically, and mentally ready. The good news? The foundations are in place. And if the plan is executed well, this pre-season could mark the beginning of yet another historic year. So stay tuned. The next few weeks will be absolutely crucial. News 2. Callum Wilson still without agreement, but John Ruddy stays. As the squad returns to training and pre-season starts to gather pace, Newcastle are also making moves behind the scenes. And decisions about some of the more experienced players have already started to come through, with some good news and some that leave fans a bit worried. Let's start with the positive. John Ruddy is staying at the club. The 38-year-old goalkeeper, who hasn't yet featured for the first team, has signed a contract extension and will remain as a backup option, but more importantly, as a key figure in the dressing room. Manager Eddie Howe made a point of publicly praising Ruddy, saying he's one of those players who makes a difference even off the pitch. He attends academy matches, gives advice, trains hard, and supports the younger players, like a true silent leader. Having someone like that around is hugely valuable, especially in a squad that blends youth and experience. Now, the situation with Callum Wilson is a very different story, and a much more delicate one. Newcastle did try to keep hold of their number 9, offering a new contract full of performance-based incentives, with bonuses for appearances, goals, and milestones. But Wilson turned it down. At least for now. Is there still a chance an agreement could be reached? Yes, talks are ongoing. But the reality is that Wilson is already listening to offers from elsewhere and currently seems closer to a departure than a renewal. He hasn't reported back to training with the rest of the squad, and no one knows for sure if he even will. Eddie Howe has made it very clear just how much he values Wilson. He has spoken about what the striker means to the club, for having joined during a difficult time, for wearing the number 9 shirt with pride, and for being a strong character who's always given everything. He has been a top scorer, a leader, and a key figure in Newcastle's rebuild over the past few years. But time moves on, and football doesn't wait. Wilson is 32 now, and perhaps looking for one last big move or new challenge. The truth is, his decision will directly impact the club's attacking plans. If he leaves, Newcastle will need to hit the market in search of proper replacement, someone who can share the goal-scoring responsibility with Alexander Isak and keep the front line sharp. This uncertainty is holding up pre-season planning, because the club needs to know who it can count on. That's why the sooner this is resolved, whether through a new deal or an official departure, the better for everyone involved. For now, here's what we know. John Ruddy remains a respected figure behind the scenes, while Callum Wilson's future is still a big question mark. And now, we wait for the next chapter of this story to unfold. News 3. New signing to boost set pieces. Here we go. Time for the hottest news of the video, and one that hardly anyone saw coming. Newcastle have made a new signing, but it's not a player. It's a specialist, and a top one, brought in to fix a part of the game that often decides matches in modern football. His name is Maarten Mark. He's only 31 years old, but already has a strong reputation across Europe. He's been hired specifically to work on set pieces. Yes, you heard that right. Free kicks, corners, throw-ins, all the routines and strategies that can turn a game on its head. And why does this matter so much? Because in today's football, where matches are tighter and margins smaller than ever, a well-taken corner or a clever free-kick routine can be the difference between winning and losing. A headed goal, a rehearsed move, it all comes down to fine margins. And Newcastle have realized that, if they want to keep competing with the Premier League and European giants, they need to be sharp in every department. Maarten Mark wasn't chosen by chance. He made a name for himself at FC Midtjylland in Denmark, a club famous for using stats and science to gain a competitive edge. He started there in 2017 as a youth coach and eventually became head of set pieces. And it worked. Under his guidance, Midtjylland won trophies and consistently finished near the top of the Danish league. Now he joins Newcastle to strengthen Eddie Howe's technical staff, which is becoming more structured and sophisticated. Alongside Mark, the club already has Kieran Taylor, a senior set-piece analyst, and Stephen Purchase, Howe's assistant who also works on set-play routines, all under the coordination of Jason Tyndall, Howe's right-hand man. But with Maarten Mark on board, this work is about to go even deeper. He brings fresh ideas, modern methods, and a clear mission to turn Newcastle into a set-piece machine, dangerous both in attack and defense. And that could be absolutely crucial in big games where every opportunity matters. It's the kind of signing you don't see on the pitch, doesn't show up in the stats for goals or assists, but can completely shape the outcome of a season. A well-drilled team at corners and free kicks scores more, concedes less, and grows in confidence when the pressure is on. In other words, Newcastle aren't just thinking about the now, they're improving every detail, even the ones that don't make headlines. And that shows the club becoming more professional, more strategic, and more determined to win real trophies. With this new addition to the staff, fans can expect a team that's even more prepared, creative, and dangerous when the ball is dead. So that's it for today's video. The clock is ticking, and Newcastle are already back in training with a fiery preseason ahead. John Ruddy has signed a new deal, but Callum Wilson's future remains up in the air, and we could get an answer any moment now. And the arrival of Maarten Mark shows Newcastle are investing in every detail to fight at the top. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. Do you think set pieces could be the key to Newcastle's success next season? See you in the next one, and come on, Newcastle!